Okay, so let's get right into it. There's a huge new agreement between the United States and Australia, and it's all about who controls the stuff that builds our future. And trust me, this is way more than just a simple trade deal. It's a major strategic play to completely reshape the global map for the world's most critical minerals.
Sounds like the setup for a joke, right? But the answer is actually fundamental to, well, everything in our modern world. Just think about the tech you use every single day, and then think about the most advanced military hardware out there. Turns out, they all share a secret ingredient. And that secret ingredient is rare earth elements. Now, the name's a bit misleading. They aren't all that rare in the ground, but they are absolutely 100% essential. Without them, our high-tech, connected world just stops. They're basically the vitamins of 21st century technology.
So, if these minerals are so important, why the big emergency pact between allies? Well, it's because the global supply chain has a massive, and I mean massive, choke point.
Now this is where it gets really interesting. It's not about who can dig this stuff out of the ground. It's about who can process it. And as you can see, China controls a mind-boggling 90% of that critical step, turning the raw rock into the high-purity materials that actually go into our gadgets.
So here's the bottom line. It doesn't matter who has the minerals if only one country can make them usable. This creates a huge strategic vulnerability for everybody else, especially nations like the US that need these materials for everything from their economy to their national security. And that vulnerability is exactly what this new US-Australia agreement is designed to smash. You can think of it as a very deliberate, very direct attempt to build a whole new supply chain and break free from that dangerous dependency.
And we're not talking about small change here. This deal is designed to unlock a pipeline of projects that are ready to go, worth a whopping 13 billion Australian dollars. That is a serious amount of cash, meant to build up not just Australia's mining, but more importantly, its processing industry.
So what's the game plan? Well, it's pretty straightforward. They want to fast-track American investment into Australian processing plants. They're going to write a new rule book together for how the industry works. And they're putting serious money on the table right away. $1 billion in just the next 6 months to get the ball rolling and fast.
Okay, so a big government agreement is one thing, but does it actually move the needle in the real world? Well, you can bet the financial markets thought so, and their reaction was, let's just say, pretty immediate.
You could see the impact almost instantly. The second this deal was announced, boom, shares in key Australian rare earths companies just took off. Arafura Rare Earths, for example, jumped nearly 8%. That's the market basically screaming that this deal is a real, honest-to-goodness game changer.
But, a deal like this doesn't happen in a vacuum. To really understand why it's so significant, you have to zoom out and look at the incredibly complex geopolitical tightrope that Australia is walking every single day. And this right here is the heart of the issue. On one side, you have the United States, Australia's most important security partner. On the other side, you've got China, its biggest trading partner by a country mile. Every major decision they make has to be weighed against this really delicate balance.
And this mineral deal isn't just some random, one-off thing. It fits like a puzzle piece right next to the massive AUKUS submarine deal between Australia, the UK, and the US. It's just another huge step in making the economic and security ties between these allies even tighter.
And that commitment to the alliance is rock solid. For instance, when former President Donald Trump was asked not too long ago about that AUKUS submarine deal, his response was a pretty direct confirmation. It's this deep strategic alignment that really paves the way for big economic deals like this new minerals pact. So let's bring it all home. What's the ultimate goal here? It's nothing less than a full-on attempt to redraw the global supply map for the most important resources of the entire 21st century. This is the system the pact is designed to shatter. Right now, Australia digs up a ton of these critical minerals, but just like the US, it has to send them to China for that vital processing step. This whole deal is about building step 3, the processing, in Australia, with a whole lot of American help.
Which leaves us with the big $13 billion question. That's a lot of money, and the political will seems to be there. But trying to build an entire industrial ecosystem from scratch to compete with a player that has 90% of the market, well, that's a monumental task. The real question is, will this be enough to finally create a supply chain that's truly independent?